Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kyle and Claire want to make a deal, and Phyllis can't speak because of the cane. His entire scheme crumbled before his eyes when Damien, Chance, and Carter perished on Kane's estate in France. Before everyone headed home, Victor taunted him, saying he'd always be 10 steps ahead of him, and Genoa City is his town. Kane may be injured, but he is not out, and the Young and the Restless promo next week suggests that he is prepared for battle, as are the Newmans. But does Kane really think he can take on the mustache and come out on top? Given that Kane was returning to the town, Victor advised Adam to prepare for war and get ready for it. Victoria and Adam called a truce, and now Victoria's daughter and boyfriend Kyle appear prepared to play Let's Make a Deal. Jack has already warned his son to be ready because Audra probably wants to exact revenge on him after everything that happened. Victor suggests how Lily might want to deal with her ex's presence now that Kane is back in town, which is not exactly what Lily had in mind. Whereas Victor performing, Kane finally meets with Phyllis after checking into the athletic club and informs her that Billy, her former partner and boss, will be working with them. Will she be able to trust him, though? Don't even get us started on what can only be described as a choice given Kane's new appearance. Adam's office ambush. Claire and Kyle seek a deal. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, August 4th reveal that Adam Newman will face an office ambush because Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott will seek a deal. Adam will be surprised when Kyle and Claire arrive at Newman Media. Adam will be left wondering what brought them to his office without warning, so Claire will tell him why. It turns out Claire and Kyle will be hoping to strike a deal, so Adam may assume Victor Newman is out of the loop on this. However, Claire might argue that because she is a mature woman who is capable of making her own decisions, they do not require Victor's approval. In Nice, Kyle made a bold declaration to Victor about moving in with Claire once he got back home. Victor has been attempting to prevent this significant turning point in his relationship, but he may not be able to do so for a long time. If Adam's place is still available, then Kyle and Claire may hope to lock it in. Claire and Kyle may exert pressure on Adam to sign this real estate agreement despite Victor's prohibition against it. Since Cole Howard, J. The passing of Eddie Peck has served as a helpful reminder for Claire to take advantage of the present. Since there is no guarantee of tomorrow, Cole's death may have served as a wake-up call for Claire and motivated her to take action. Claire will be ready to begin their next chapter together now that she has learned how much she values Kyle during their time apart. Y&R fans are already starting to see Claire become a little more daring about standing up to Victor, like when she insisted on seeing Kyle before joining the Newman family meeting. If Claire goes one step further and makes a deal with Adam behind Victor's back, he won't appreciate it. Adam may, of course, be a little wary of upsetting Victor because he is now on better terms with his father. Claire and Kyle will have to persuade Adam that the deal they want is worth his time. According to the spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Kyle and Claire will update Adam on their proposal, so keep an eye out for that. Kyle Abbott paced the polished floors of Newman Media's sleek lobby, nervously glancing at the elevator every few seconds, his jaw tight with anticipation and resolve. Claire Newman stood beside him, her composure cool but electric with quiet defiance. She had chosen her side, and if her recent heartbreak and Cole's death had taught her anything, it was that life was short, and her loyalties needed to mean something. What they were about to do was dangerous, possibly reckless, and would certainly rattle the Newman empire, but it felt necessary. The elevator pinged. Adam Newman's door had barely shut behind them when his eyes narrowed, arms crossed with suspicion as Kyle and Claire waltzed in unannounced. "You two sure picked a hell of a time," Adam muttered. "What's going on?" Claire stepped forward, unapologetically. "We want to make a deal." Adam blinked, scanning their faces for signs of hesitation, manipulation, anything. But Claire was laser-focused, and Kyle, despite the wear of recent emotional chaos, nodded in support. "You're here without Victor's approval, aren't you?" Adam asked, amused but cautious. "Is this about the house? Or something more?" Claire, her tone firm but diplomatic, replied, "We're looking to take the next step. We want to secure your downtown penthouse. It's vacant. We know. We want to make it ours quietly. No interference from Victor." Adam chuckled dryly, sitting back in his chair. "You do realize you're asking me to sidestep my father, when I've only just started getting back in his good graces? Kyle leaned forward. And you realize this could be a very profitable opportunity. You want to prove your independence from him too, don't you? Isn't that always your angle? Claire added, we're not asking you to betray him, just delay telling him. You know as well as we do, Victor will never approve, no matter what. But you? You know opportunity when it knocks. Adam studied them for a long beat, his mind whirring. Meanwhile, back at the Grand Phoenix, chaos brewed in silence. Phyllis Summers, usually vocal, sharp-witted, and unflinchingly opinionated, was oddly mute. Kane Ashby's sudden reappearance in Genoa City had knocked the wind out of her in more ways than one. But it wasn't just his dramatic comeback, it was what he brought with him. Secrets. Lethal secrets. Phyllis had gone to meet him at the athletic club, curious, defensive, and ready to give him a piece of her mind after everything that had come crashing down in France. But when Kane calmly informed her that Billy would be joining forces with them again, yes, that Billy, her ex, her nemesis, her partner in chaos turned betrayer, Phyllis had been rendered utterly speechless. Kane's new demeanor was colder, calculated, almost unfamiliar. The rugged charm remained, but something darker loomed beneath the surface. Maybe it was because of what happened in France, where Damien, Carter, and Chance had all perished under mysterious and brutal circumstances on Kane's sprawling estate. The official report spoke of a fire, but those close to the truth knew better. That was no accident. Victor had been there, of course, looming, judging, smirking. As the fire department took control of the scene and the authorities cleared bodies from the wreckage, Victor leaned toward Kane, his voice venomous and soft. You'll always be 10 steps behind, son. This town? Genoa City? It will never belong to you. Kane, bandaged and bruised but very much alive, had stared back, rage simmering behind his eyes. It's not over, he hissed. You think I'm done? I just got started. Victor had walked away, smiling. Now, in Genoa City, the chessboard had been reset. And everyone, Kyle, Claire, Phyllis, even Adam, had become a pawn or player in the unfolding battle. Lily Winters was caught in the middle once again, torn between lingering feelings for Kane and the scars he'd left behind. When Victor hinted to her that she might want to consider how best to handle her ex's sudden return, Lily had balked. This wasn't Victor's business. And yet, somehow, he always found a way to make it so. Lily knew Kane wasn't back for nostalgia. He was back to reclaim something. Power. Influence. Revenge. Maybe all of it. And the real question was, how far would he go to get it? Meanwhile, Jack Abbott warned his son again. Kyle, don't be naive. Audra is out there. She's not done. You hurt her, and she's going to hurt you back. Claire's a wildcard. And Victor? He doesn't forgive. He waits. And then he strikes. Kyle rolled his eyes, but part of him knew Jack was right. He'd already made bold moves, publicly declaring his intentions to move in with Claire while they were still in France. It had been a moment of defiance, and maybe even love. But it had painted a target on both their backs. Claire had sensed it too, but she was done living afraid. Her relationship with Cole had been mired in hesitation, missed moments, and pain. Losing him reminded her that life had no guarantees. If we want this, Kyle, she whispered one night, we have to fight for it. Back at Newman Media, Adam finally broke his silence. All right, he said. I'll draw up the papers. But if Victor finds out, and he will, you're on your own. Claire smiled softly. Understood. Kyle shook Adam's hand. We'll make it worth your while. As they exited, Claire turned back. Thank you, Adam. Really? But Adam just stared at the door long after it closed, already bracing for the fallout. Elsewhere, Victor Newman made a different kind of move. A quiet meeting with Victoria and Adam, in which the message was clear. Prepare for war. Kane thinks he's coming back to reclaim his throne, Victor said, voice low and lethal. Let him try. I want eyes on him. Every move. Every conversation. If he stumbles, I want to be the one who pulls the trigger. Victoria and Adam shared a tense glance. They'd only just called a truce, two siblings always at odds now suddenly aligned under a common threat. But neither trusted the other fully. And Victor? He trusted no one. At society, Phyllis stared into her untouched wine glass, her mind racing with visions of that last night in France. She hadn't told anyone, not even Nick, that she'd seen Carter alive just before the fire, that she'd overheard the plan, that Kane may have known what was coming. Her silence wasn't fear, it was strategy. She was watching, waiting, calculating, just like everyone else. When Kane walked in, dressed in dark slacks and a fitted coat that looked more mob boss than businessman, the room went still. He sat across from her, his expression unreadable. "Phyllis," he began, "we need to talk. Billy's back in. And so are you. If you want to win." She stared back, heart pounding. "Win what?" Kane leaned forward, voice like ice. "Everything." And so, the pieces moved. In the shadows, Audra Charles tracked Kyle's every step, her mind already plotting vengeance. In the Newman Tower, Victor opened a folder filled with surveillance reports and blackmail-ready material. In the Abbott home, Jack reread a letter Cole had written to Claire before his death, a letter that might change everything if Claire ever saw it. And in the heart of it all, Kane stood like a wounded animal, bruised, battered, but far from beaten. His estate in France may have been reduced to ashes. Damien, Carter, and Chance may have died on his land. But his purpose was crystal clear now. Genoa City owed him something. And this time, he wouldn't leave without it. Meanwhile, Claire and Kyle toasted their secret victory in their new place, unaware that Victor already knew. Because Victor always knew. He didn't need to say it aloud, but the message vibrated through every corridor of Newman media, every whisper in town. "I'm still the king. And you don't take on the crown, unless you're ready to bleed." It had been less than 48 hours since Kyle and Claire signed the agreement with Adam, and already, ripples were being felt across Genoa City. The ink had barely dried before whispers reached Newman Tower, carried through loyal staff, digital footprints, and quiet alliances Adam had never considered would backfire so quickly. Victor was in his private suite when the confirmation hit his desk, a sealed report stamped confidential. He opened it, his expression still until the final page, when a sharp chuckle escaped him. "So, they went behind my back," he murmured. "Kyle and Claire. Interesting." There was no anger in his voice, only intrigue. A slow-burning calculation behind cold, piercing eyes. He picked up the phone. Find out who leaked this to them. And then find out why. Back at the penthouse, Claire sat on the terrace overlooking downtown Genoa City, her hands wrapped around a coffee cup she wasn't drinking. The morning sun was warm, but the air between her and Kyle was thick with tension neither wanted to acknowledge. They'd gotten what they wanted. The place was beautiful, modern, untouched by family drama for now. But Claire wasn't foolish enough to think Victor would stay silent. She could feel the storm coming. "We should have waited," she muttered. Kyle looked up from his tablet. "We couldn't. You said it yourself, now or never." Claire sighed. "I know. But knowing it and feeling ready are two different things." Kyle stepped closer, reaching out for her hand. "We're going to be fine. I'll protect you." She smiled faintly, touched by his sincerity. But it wasn't protection from outsiders she feared. It was what Victor would do to his own blood that terrified her. Meanwhile, Kane stood in Chancellor Winter's executive conference room, his hands behind his back, gazing out the window as Billy walked in behind him. "So this is what it looks like when ghosts return," Billy said dryly. Kane turned slowly, the corner of his lip curling into a smirk. "Nice to see you haven't changed. Still can't keep your mouth shut." Billy snorted. "You brought me into this, remember? Don't get all righteous." Kane stepped forward, voice quiet but dangerous. "I brought you in because you owe me. And because Victor's going to come for both of us. You think he's going to forget what we were doing in France?" Billy's jaw tightened. "France got messy. I didn't sign up for Damien, Carter, and Chance dying in the same night." Kane's tone dropped further. "Neither did I. But now it's about survival. And Phyllis is next on my list." Across town, Phyllis sat in her hotel suite, the doors locked, curtains drawn. She hadn't answered Nick's calls, hadn't shown up for her lunch with Summer, and most importantly hadn't opened her mouth to anyone about what she knew. Not yet. But the weight of the secret was becoming unbearable. She kept seeing Carter's face in the shadows of her mind, hearing his final words as the fire began to consume the estate. "Tell the truth, Phyllis. or they'll come for you next. She had no proof, only memory. But memory was enough to make her question everything Cain had told her. Why had Damien been there that night? Why was Chance really following them? Was it coincidence, or a trap gone wrong? Nick Newman finally found her later that afternoon, banging on her door until she relented and let him in. "What's going on with you?" he demanded, concern in his eyes. "You look like hell." Phyllis didn't respond at first. Then, barely above a whisper, she said, "I saw them die, Nick." He froze. "What are you talking about?" "Damien. Carter. Chance. I was there before the fire broke out. And I saw Cain, and Billy. They were arguing with Carter. Then everything went up in flames. I don't think it was an accident." Nick's face darkened. "Why didn't you say anything before?" "Because I was scared. And because Cain, he looked at me like I was next. And now he's back here, acting like nothing happened. Like he's entitled to this city." Nick paced the room, processing the bombshell. "We need to go to Victor with this." But Phyllis grabbed his arm. "No. Not yet. You don't get it if I go to Victor. He'll use it. Twist it. And if I'm wrong, I'm dead." Nick nodded slowly. "Then we find out the truth. Together." At Newman Tower, Victoria met Adam in the boardroom, shutting the door behind them. "Claire and Kyle went behind Dad's back," she said flatly. "And you helped them." Adam leaned back. "I didn't help them. I allowed them to make a choice. You know, like actual adults." "Don't play games, Adam. You know how this works. Dad already knows. He's waiting for one of us to mess up so he can remind us who's really in charge." Adam crossed his arms. Maybe he needs the reminder this time. He's already pulled Lily into this by pushing her to take a stance on Cain. He's manipulating everyone. Again. Victoria paused, considering his words. "You think Cain is really a threat?" "I think Cain's got nothing to lose. And that makes him dangerous. Especially if Billy's working with him." And Billy was, begrudgingly. It wasn't about loyalty, it was about leverage. Cain had something on him. And Billy knew if that ever came out, it would destroy his already fragile relationship with Jack, not to mention burn any bridge he'd rebuilt with Victoria. The footage from France. The altered bank records. The falsified names in the shipping manifest. Billy had gone too deep. And now, Cain was dragging him into the fire with him. That evening, Kyle received a text from an unknown number. "You think you're safe? Audra hasn't forgotten. She's watching you. And she's not the only one." He showed it to Claire. She read it, her face unreadable. "Do you think it's her?" Kyle hesitated. "I don't know. But we should be careful. I've made a lot of enemies, Claire. Not just Audra. My dad's not thrilled either." "What do we do?" Claire asked. "We don't blink," he replied. "That's what they're all waiting for." The next morning, Claire received an unexpected visitor at the penthouse, Lily Winters. The atmosphere tensed immediately. Claire welcomed her inside cautiously, unsure what this was about. "I wanted to talk to you," Lily began. "About Cain." Claire braced herself. "Go on." "He's dangerous, Claire. You may not know the full history, but I do. I spent years cleaning up after him, protecting him, loving him. And he always found a way to hurt people." Claire nodded slowly. "I appreciate the warning. But I make my own decisions." Lily smiled faintly. "I figured you'd say that. Just, be careful. Cain always has a plan. Even when he pretends he doesn't." With that, Lily left, and Claire stood at the door long after she was gone, her mind spinning.